Nice. Hello and welcome back to Digs on Twitch. Back today with BANT Maverick. We're playing in the Legacy Prelim, which should be pretty fun. Luckily had today off, so get some time in for a competitive tournament, which is really nice. And taking BANT. So this deck is definitely very light on the blue splash. Only playing 2 Trops, 3 Okos, and an Uro. There are some pretty cool sideboard cards you can take advantage of with blue in the deck. Flusterstorm is one of them. Linvala is another. Or maybe I have that wrong. Lavinia. Not there. Lavinia is a... I believe it's Lavinia. It's the 2-mana creature that stops your opponent from casting anything with a converted mana cost higher than the amount of lands they have in play. And also if something is free, like an LED or a Lotus Petal, it just counters it instead, which is pretty cool. But I think that Deafening Silence is a pretty nice way to answer combo decks right now. So I'm pretty happy just settling on the 3 Deafening Silence. Julian actually 5-0'd with a pretty interesting list as well. Pretty similar to this. It was only running the Okos, no Uro, and then no sideboard blue cards. It had the 4 Deafening Silences in it, 2 Banishing Lights, and 2 Paths. But I was pretty keen to play a Gideon. I really like Gideon because it's great against Plague Engineer and gives me a nice out to that. Also, the Banishing Lights were nice, especially against things like Omnitel. But I really wanted to play a Reclamation in this deck. I think Reclamation's really strong, especially with Uro in the deck. Also getting back things like Knight, Qasali Pridemage, any creatures that have actually gone to the bin, or any lands that we want back, like Wasteland is pretty cool as well. So Reclamation is really nice. Uro is interesting. We haven't had too much success with it in the form that I don't think Maverick is a deck that really needs Uro, but it's just such a good creature that I think it's fair enough to have it as a Green Sun Zenith target. It also allows us to open up the graveyard a little bit as a resource for us, which is nice, so I don't mind that either. And against some of the decks like Delver, just getting that extra 3 and putting a land into play can really help you kind of get that advantage and hopefully beat through a Delver player, because Delver's on the rise right now. Delver's pretty much everywhere, so it's going to be interesting to see how this deck performs against it. It's going to be nice to have the sorts of Plowshares, the Path to Exile on the board. Prelate's always an interesting one against Delver because post-board a lot of our interaction is on at 1 CMC. So Prelate on 1, as good as it is against them, it might actually hinder us as well. So that's where I really like Jitte as well. Jitte is nice because it acts as removal in the 2 CMC slot. We currently don't play any Stoneforge Mystics, but we do have Sylvan Library to find Jitte, which is nice. And if it's not needed, we can just Oko it, which is kind of cool. One kind of funny thing is that if we make Jitte a legendary creature, we can then return it with Karakas if needed. Or if our opponent Okos the Jitte, we can return it with Karakas and then replay it as Jitte, which is kind of cool. What the deck gains from blue is something that I'm still working with. I'm not too sure where the big advantages are. Of course, Oko is great in the mid-range matchups, creating that sub-game when they have to kind of deal with the Oko before they deal with you. It's on paper, it kind of looks like it's better against combo because you do have access to things like Flusterstorm and some other combo hate. But I think Deafening Silence has just been the printing that we've kind of wanted as a pretty fair deck. Just to have that turn one interaction that isn't Chalice for 0. Otherwise, it's pretty tough. Thoughtseize is okay, but I kind of like Deafening Silence over Thoughtseize right now because it can't be veiled, which is pretty huge. And Thoughtseize sometimes feels just a little bit too bad when you're spending a card to grab a card, but they're not spending any mana on it. So you're kind of down on the mana, not advantage, but it's just one of those cards that doesn't seem great right now. So Deafening Silence should do a bit of work. Carpet of Flowers is interesting as well. In Julian's list, he was running Trops. He was only running 1 Trop as his only green mana source outside of Mana Dorks. And then was running Choke in the place of Carpet of Flowers. But I think Carpet's really nice right now, especially against Delver. Just trying to turn off Daze and Spell Pierce as much as possible, and even just try to ramp out in front of them. It's also really nice to have a Mana Dork, per se, that can't be bolted or Fatal Pushed, which is pretty cool. Maybe this event won't fire. I guess we'll see. We only have 9 people currently. I'm not too sure how many people it actually needs to fire. Rough has been cancelled. Well, we get our play points back, which is nice. And I guess we'll just throw this into a league. So that's pretty lame. I was looking forward to that a lot. I guess there is one in 7 hours, which is 12 AM my time. Nice. Okay, we're gonna just go through a league then. Down here. $16 minimum? Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds about right. Rough. Well, a league should be pretty fun as well. I haven't seen too much ban online. If anything, it's been the blue loam decks that I've been seeing a lot in these leagues. Delver, of course, is always kind of Hitman #1, but there's been a good combination of decks we've been playing against. A bit of Eldrazi, a bit of Doomsday, Ant. So this should be pretty interesting to see how we go. Up against Fix It. This hand looks pretty good. Pretty fair, but I'm pretty happy with this because we can just go for basics early on. We have some disruption in swords. The double mum is kind of nice against the fair decks, so the green suns as well can just go and fetch whatever we want, so I'm happy to keep this. Hopefully another fair deck. Windswept Heath, okay. Most likely. Savannah, okay. Noble's fine. I think I'm happy here to lead on the Mother of Runes, and then hold the swords for a bigger threat. So I'm just going to go for a basic here. Snow-covered plains into Mum. Hey, Rain, thank you very much. Unfortunately, the prelim didn't fire, but this is a league, so we'll see how we go. I should then update this. Save. Swords is fine. Thalia's okay. So here I don't mind just... Dryad's interesting. I kind of like Dryad here because my turn's most likely Mum again. However, I could play a little bit around Wasteland just by playing a fetch land and passing. But I think getting the Dryad online as soon as possible is also pretty nice. Can just 6 here as well. Wasteland's pretty good. I kind of hope my opponent taps out for something like Knight here. Then we have a great way to swords. Okay. Drew the Snow-Covered Forest. Interesting. We're definitely going after the Knight here. And then just passing back. It's interesting, if they were just attacking with the Thalia by itself, I'd probably use Mum here. But I think I'm happy just to let this slide. So what I'm looking at is, they didn't have a swords to deal with it when it didn't have summoning sickness. And now they're obviously attacking. If I lose the Mum here, I'm not doing too much. So I'm pretty happy just to allow this to happen. I don't want to put the Mum in a vulnerable position where I don't really need to. Just a pass. Noble's kind of nice. I don't mind going land. Noble. And then perhaps just going for Thalia here. It does put back our Green Suns an extra because of Thalia's abilities stacking. But I think that's okay. It also just gives us a pretty easy block. We also haven't shown that we're actually banned either yet, which is kind of nice by just having the light splash. Hey Guru, welcome. Hope you're well. End step fetch. Okay. Ah, they're playing black. Okay, that's kind of scary because a Plague Engineer on human here would be pretty disastrous for us. Hey Jack, welcome. Ooh, Jitte is interesting. Jitte costs 4. I think that's okay. Hopefully our opponent isn't playing something like a main deck Plague. I really need to kind of allow this, get through this turn, and then hopefully just get in with this Jitte and start attacking my opponent's mana. Just a Wasteland. And looks like just a pass. Interesting. Maverick, other than Swords to Plowshares, doesn't have too much interaction at instant speed. So here I don't mind just going... equip to Thalia. Attack. No blocks is really interesting. Definitely fetching to cast Uro. Even though they have Wasteland, we do have the extra blue mana through Noble Hierarch. Drawing a land here would be cool. Thalia, okay. I think I'm okay using one on the Noble. Just to take them off some mana. But then keep the other one around just in case they do have... I guess we aren't too scared of an opposing Jitte because we have the Mother of Runes. But I'm happy just keeping one around for now. I probably want to have some way to kill their mum if they try to take care of the Jitte first and then cast the Mother of Runes. Cradle's pretty nice, but it looks like they don't have too much to actually put into it yet. No Karakas either from my opponent. Okay. I don't mind just taking out the Thalia and attacking, because then they can't trade with Thalia. This also means we can cast the Oko this turn, which is nice. Get those Jitte counters. I'm gonna kill this. It also turns off the Cradle, so it pretty much deals with 2 mana. And now we can finish up with Oko. So my opponent here had the turn 3 Knight, but other than that, didn't really have anything to really keep the pressure on, which is pretty upsetting. They had a few Wastelands and a nice mana acceleration through Noble Hierarch, but outside of that, we kind of just had a little bit more than them. So here I'm happy to drop the Thalias, the Gaddock Teeg. Oko is interesting. I think I'll keep Oko around for now. I'll definitely bring in the Path to Exile. I don't think Collector Oof is that great, especially seeing we already have Jitte. I do like Gideon. I do like Savine's Reclamation. Maybe even one Force. I don't mind Banishing Light because Force is most likely for Sylvan Library, and Banishing Light kind of deals with it as well, so I don't mind that. Everything else kind of has its place. I still like the 3 Okos. There's not too many changes that I make on the draw against Maverick. I think just extra removal and some extra pieces to grind with is nice. Yeah, I think Uro's nice. I do think Uro is just a little bit better in the Loam decks because of Life in the Loam, but it is really nice to have in the deck. It's pretty great. Even just the gain 3, which doesn't seem that effective, can give you that extra turn against like Delver decks where you just need that one turn to untap. Probably want to see some fetches and some 1-drops in my hand, so I can play into basics early on and hopefully get some mana out as well. Unfortunately, this just isn't the hand that I want to have. The Dryad Arbor takes the turn to get online, and then I have to rely on Noble Hierarch. If these were 2 different lands, this hand would be very good, especially with the double swords, but I'm going to mulligan this. Hey Alex, welcome. This hand is pretty good. We can put back the Dryad Arbor. And then hopefully the Ramunap can take us to victory. The only issue is that we rely on Noble Hierarch right now to cast the Mother of Runes. But I think this is a keep. And I think it is just Dryad Arbor going to the bin. Hopefully drawing into... I'd probably love to see a fetch land off the top. An opposing Mum would be pretty hard to deal with because we don't have swords right now. So I'd probably rather see a Noble Hierarch here. Well, there's our fetch land, which is interesting. We can't get a basic forest off this. Sorry, we can't get a basic plains, but we can get a Savannah for the Mum. So for that reason, I don't mind going Trop into Noble. I'm not too terrified of Wasteland because of the Ramunap in hand. But maybe just to get a land on board that can't be hit is pretty nice. It means that my opponent can't go Swords on Noble, Wasteland us. It just means if they deal with the Noble and we don't draw a white source, we can't cast the Mum right now. But I think just having that extra land drop here is kind of nice. Or at least a land drop that can't be wasted. I wonder if they have Cradle as well. That'd be pretty broken. Wasteland. Okay, nice. Scavenging Ooze. I could go after their mana here. I also don't mind Wasteland into Night. We could go Skoos and Mum. So the Mums are going to be tough to deal with. I don't think we have a clean answer to them outside of Jitte. So getting our Mum online is probably pretty significant. The one card that I don't want to play into too much is Plague Engineer, so I think just tapping out for Night here is fine, and the next turn we can go Ramunap and maybe even get Cradle. I'm going to keep this Trop. I think the Trop's a little bit better than the Wasteland here. So I don't want to put the Trop into the eye of the Wasteland. Hey, Eldore, welcome. Good morning. It is 5:13 PM here, but good morning to you. Hope you're well. Hmm. 9:14 AM. Very nice. Getting a basic. Interesting. Not going for black mana yet. Oh, they have Jitte. Wow. So I don't want to block with Knight here because I don't want them to be able to kill the Knight. What can we draw? Foothills. Tough spot. We don't have Blast Zone and we don't have Maze. We have a pretty bland mana base. Canopy can draw a card, but that doesn't really do anything here. I think we kind of want to set up for a Cradle turn to at least try to get the Scavenging Ooze bigger than a 3/3. We can't even do something tricky like fetch for Dryad Arbor, block, and then Wasteland it before damage to stop anything. Gonna play a Mum. It makes them have to use the Jitte or use protection. I guess they can get pro white, but I probably want to keep the Savannah around as well, so I probably just want to Wasteland their Wasteland here instead of putting out the Ooze. I guess we could also play Ooze, and then if they try to kill it... Ooze is kind of nice because it gives us 2 blockers. And hopefully there's a way where they can actually just screw up the Jitte counters by trying to kill the Ooze, and we can eat with Cradle in response. I don't mind that. I think going wide is probably what I have to do now to try to get this Jitte out. But yeah, the Jitte is really tough because we aren't running Abrupt Decay. We aren't running too many answers for it. Maybe this is a reason why we should have brought in Force of Vigor if we do see the Jitte. Force just probably a little bit better than Oblivion Ring. I think I'd rather just see my opponent use the Jitte counters here than try to block. This is game 2, yes. We won game 1. Killing this first is fine, because now we have 2 creatures to eat with Scavenging Ooze. So for their sake, hopefully they don't try to kill the Ooze here, thinking we only have 1 green source. I'm just going to untap here. Oko. Okay. Oko is interesting. This also kind of forces them to use the Jitte counters. So if we target the Jitte, if they try to kill the Ooze, we can just eat 2 creatures with Cradle in response. But I assume they don't because they're... Interesting, they're going to go after the Ooze. Did not expect this. I'm just going to get rid of the Savannah here. I do also have the option of just playing the Ramunap as well. Because if we get Cradle, we get access to 3 mana... it doesn't work. That doesn't work. Okay. Let's go for Mum. And then this resolves. then I might just eat the Hierarch. Yeah, Forest is pretty good as well. I guess because I think that the Wasteland's going to hit the Cradle, we have the Ramunap to get it back anyway. I don't want to use this Wasteland either. I kind of want to keep my mana up for Ramunap next turn. Yeah. Scryb Ranger. Okay. I could have wasted in response if I wanted to, but I think this Wasteland's just better for me than it is to take my opponent off mana. Especially with the Scryb Ranger, that is have so much. It does mean they needed the Savannah to actually use Scryb Ranger because it's their only forest right now, but I think that's okay. Uro is interesting. I don't think, sadly I don't feel like Uro does anything that this deck really needs against some of its unfavorable matchups. I just think it's a really good grindy card, and right now there's a lot of good grindy decks online, so it's nice to try to get in there. Can't block, that's fine. Interesting that they didn't even allow us to block. I think it's going to be a little bit too hard to get through, especially with the double mum and Scryb Ranger, so I'm going to concede just to buy some time. They're also playing Stoneforge Mystic, so I'm definitely going to bring in the Force of Vigors. And I think I might just take out the Banishing Light. There actually really isn't one specific target that I want for the Green Suns, so I might just go down on the Green Suns here. Yeah, Oof is interesting. It does turn off our own Jittes. I do like Force a lot. 5 color playing back to basics or Blood Moon is something that I just can't get around to enjoying, but we're on the play, which is nice. This hand isn't, unfortunately. This is a pretty rough hand as well, but I don't really want to go down. I'm not really doing anything though, that's the issue. As nice as it is to have all these, I don't think this is a winning hand. Yes it is. So we are currently 0-0 within the league. So until I win or lose this game. Okay, we'll keep this. We're going to drop the Path and the Savannah. And I'm going to just hope to God the Sylvan Library resolves. I'm going to lead on Snow-Covered Plains because if my opponent leads on Mum, I want to Swords it and then next turn untap and tap out for Sylvan Library. Nothing. Interesting. Well, hopefully this library can get us back because going to 5 is pretty rough in the mirror. Hey Morphling, thanks. I saw that I believe Morphling you were streaming the other day, which is very cool. So if you are someone looking for legacy content, definitely check out Morphling 401. The Plains is really great because it means my opponent does not have Abrupt Decay open. So I think here we're literally just going to probably pay 8. Unless they're just lands. I think I'm happy to put this back and pay for the Savannah. Probably happy even to fetch here. Hey, Eb11, welcome. I think I'm happy just to go Mum into Qasali in the same turn. And I guess I'm happy just to go Savannah here. Hey, I'm a wizard on MTGO. Thanks for the follow. I like the username. Very cool. I guess we can just 6 here as well. I have to save some time. My opponent does have 5 minutes on me. Green Necro. I do like that. This is pretty much Green Necro. Sylvan Library, of course. I never thought of that. That's very cool. Card is so good. I think Sylvan Library is just one of the most underrated cards, like, of all time. Double white and green. Night of Autumn. That's pretty good. You wanted to splash Library into Ant? Interesting. Well, I guess we have to deal with the knight here. There's no point not using the swords. Wasteland's okay. Looks like just a pass from my opponent, which is interesting. Not great. Maybe they're putting in Containment Priest? Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna put in a... Do I care what land it is? I guess Karakas stops like questing Beast. I think that's fine. The one reason that I don't like putting in Karakas is that it does give my opponent just full information on my hand because they know about the trop. If they're wastelanding here, that's more than fine. Knight's pretty good. I didn't want to play the trop into the knight because it can just get wastelanded. But it looks like this is going to be a painful end to the Maverick matchup. Okay. Yeah, rough. Not really anything in this game, unfortunately. So that ticks us off to a 0-1 start, which is pretty rough. We've been online for 34 minutes. That was the first game. Sadly, I would have loved to have kept that 7, but I don't want to keep a hand that just doesn't really do anything. And going to 5 is rough. I mean, the Sylvan Library was nice, but having it been dealt with the Night of Autumn means they weren't down a card dealing with it. They already had the Knight, which took the Swords to Plowshares as well. But yeah, green-white seems like it's in a really good position as well. Yeah, that's fair enough. I guess I didn't want to fetch because if I don't find... The reason I didn't want to play the fetch land because if I don't find a... it was a trop on top anyway. Yeah, I was going to say, if I fetch for a... I probably fetch for a basic to not get wastelanded. And then if I draw into Uro but no blue source, I can't cast it. But yeah, I think the shuffle there's a lot better because I don't want to see... I probably just want to try to like get 3 spells on top. And of course, knowing 1 land there is pretty rough. On the play, which is good against the... Jig is always up. This hand is fine. We'll keep this. Turn 2 Knight's really nice. We also have access to turn 2 Scoos with the mana up. Karakas is quite nice against some reanimated decks. Snow-covered forest into Noble Hierarch is really nice as well. Main deck Questing Beast. Yeah, I really like it as a main deck. Just end threat within the realm of Green Sun Zenith. It's done a lot of work for this deck, which is nice. It's also quite nice because it's a threat that's quite hard to deal with if we do have Karakas. And Ancient Tomb starts really nice. Hope they don't lead with Spyglass. Charles for one's going to be fine. So now I probably just want to use the fetch land here because I don't want my opponent tapping out for like a blister for 2 and killing the knight. So pretty happy to fetch for a... Probably a Trop. I think a Trop because we have this, the Karakas as a backup way to get a white source, which is nice. Oh, they chalice for 0? Interesting. Dryad. Okay. Interesting. At least we do have Knight online, which is cool. Yeah, I think they definitely messed up, unfortunately. So this is interesting. I definitely want to Wasteland my opponent. Valakut's really cool because of Dryad. It makes all other lands mountains, so once you have enough, Molten Pinnacle's pretty nice. I think I really just want to get in with Questing Beast here. And then Wasteland my opponent. And then probably just hit the Bayou. Doesn't really matter because of the Dryad, but... does mean we get closer to just attacking with the Knight and making them jump with the Dryad. I kind of like Tomb because if they're tapping it for 2, it's also adding to our clock. Ramunap's okay. Decay on Knight. Okay. That's fine because this Questing Beast is looking pretty nice. Mum. Interesting. Definitely attack first. They can't block, which is nice. And now I have the option of Scooze and hold up a green. Or Sylvan Library and Mother. I think just in case they deal with the Questing Beast. I can also play Karakas to keep the Questing Beast alive from any sort of shenanigans. I think we're just going to go with Sylvan Library into Mum. Just get that board going wide. I guess here they could have 2 and then just green for PrimeTime. Hey, Myasis, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. I'm going to assume here they're actually they hit the Mum and the Noble and don't care about the Questing Beast because of the PrimeTime. Oh, another Valakut. Wow, okay. That kind of screws things up. Well, I guess we just return this in response. And then let these resolve. So I have to find pretty much a swords here, or they might just have lethal next turn. They probably do. They definitely do. Hiya! Green Suns, alright. Doesn't do it. I think this is just a concession. We don't really have a great way to deal with the PrimeTime. Rough. So this is an interesting one. I do like Force of Vigor because it hits Dryad and Chalice. I don't mind the extra path as well. Carpet of Flowers is pretty interesting because of the Dryads, but I'm not sure if that's overkill. Pretty funny though. Reclamation seems okay. I think Thalia can most likely come out. Don't really need to tax their mana. Gaddock Teeg probably doesn't do a whole lot either. They're pretty creature based. Even this could be good enough. Everything else kind of has its place. Jitte's pretty nice. But maybe Jitte isn't... Jitte doesn't line up that great with their creatures. I think this is okay. Banishing Light's interesting as well. Maybe Banishing Light's better than the second Jitte. Second Jitte in hand can be pretty awkward. I don't mind this. We'll see how this goes, and if there is a third game, we'll see how it goes. See if we need to change anything after that. I'd love to play first. Ugh. Sadly, it's just a one-lander. And I'm going to mulligan this. This is okay. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to bottom the second Mum. I kind of want the double Wasteland. I'm just going to go for a basic into Mother of Runes. Snow-covered plains. So the swords is probably going for Ramunap if I get the chance, because Ramunap can just destroy my Wasteland plan here. I guess if they go like Mox Diamond into like a Soul Land would be pretty interesting as well, because they do have a few creatures they can cast off that. Huh. Just a pass. Birds. I don't mind the birds. Put us ahead on mana and then hold up Swords to Plowshares. Gonna get Trop, so if we draw Oku, we can hopefully cast it. And I could attack with Mum here. I don't think there's anything that I have to be weary of. I think this is a free point of damage. I wonder if they play Barstone. Blaststone would be pretty good. This cavern most likely means they have a Soul Land into a 3-drop. Ancient Tomb. Okay. This is fine. Human. Interesting. Definitely going to... I'll go to combat, and then I'll swords. Just in case they do have some sort of one-drop human. I don't want them to just float the mana and cast it. A 3-drop here is what I want. Green Suns is nice, because I can go and get... I guess they can't get Titan anyway next turn, so I don't mind Wasteland into Night. With Mum Protection, it's pretty nice. We can also double Wasteland next turn. Not going to attack, just in case they have something for the night. But keeping my opponent off colored mana is probably my priority. They do have 6 cards in hand, which is kind of nuts. Just don't play like Azura. That would be pretty good. Tireless Tracker. Okay. So many caverns. Reclamation is interesting. I wonder if I attack with the knight, if they wouldn't trade for it because we have the mum. Huh. I guess we can go... Probably want to get rid of the tomb. Probably want to go after the one that names Giant. They're going to crack a clue. We can now Reclamation back the Wasteland. Alright. I can actually leave them with no lands, which is pretty interesting. I wonder if that's better than attacking here. Putting them to 11 is interesting. I feel like just going after their mana is so much better. Pretty funny. What's that? 1, 2, 3. That's 4 Wastelands in one turn. That's going to be like some sort of record for this channel. You get a clue. Mum's not the worst. I'm definitely going to attack. Play Mum. Means that if we draw into a fetch land or a wasteland, we can just attack for lethal next turn if they don't have another colored blocker. I kind of hope they play a second land because then we can flashback Reclamation if we want by getting Cradle. And then it's going to concede. Wow. Okay. Do we want to change anything? I don't think Mox Time is a good enough reason to have Collect to Oof. but maybe this isn't just maybe this just isn't the matchup where I want Jitte. I'm not sure if they're creature suite, so I'm going to quickly look up what they most likely have. Decks, metagame, legacy, Titan Dryad? Yeah, unfortunately I don't think this is where I just don't really want Jitte. So I might drop Jitte for the Oof, because at least it does stop Mox Diamond, so it is pretty great when it comes to shutting off their Mox Diamonds and going after their mana with Wasteland. Interesting though. I don't mind this because we have the starts of Swords and Path, and we also have Force and Knight if we need to use the Force. We also just have our basics, which is nice. Opponent went to 6. Noble Hierarchy would be nice. Be a few nice draws. Horizon Canopy. Hey, tech skills. Welcome, Boyd. We are currently down a game. We lost to Maverick in the first game. Let's just lead with Windswept Heath, because then we can hold up either of these. But going well. The Legacy Prelim didn't fry us. We're just playing a Legacy League. Currently up against PrimeTime, which is pretty cool. And Tracker's going to be fine. Pretty happy just to get a basic Plains. And Swords this? Keep the Path for later on. I don't mind Wasteland here either, just to slow them down. Ramunap's nice though, but I think Wasteland's probably the best play. Just to keep them off as much mana as possible. And at least if they play Ramunap this turn, they can't use it straight away. Okay, that's pretty good for us. Mum. Okay, we can cast the Mum. And now we can hold up Knight or Ramunap, but also have Force of Vigor. I probably want to draw into a Birds of Paradise and Noble Hierarch next turn to pitch this Force of Vigor. And then just play the Knight or the Ramunap. Dryad is okay. Gonna go for a basic forest here. We did win game 1, we lost game 2. I think Knight here is just good enough. We can also deal with the Dryad if we want. The reason I might want to deal with the Dryad is if they have Soul Land into... I guess if they have Soul Land into PrimeTime, I kind of want them to go for Valakut, because then we can actually deal with this in response to the triggers and fizzle them all. So I kind of want to see a second enchantment here. Ramunap. That's going to be okay. That's going to be fine. The real question is, do I want to force now? I don't think I do. I think I'm happy just untapping here. Seeing what we draw. Noble. So Noble can go with force. We then have the ability to go for... Path Ramunap. Float. Sack this. Go and get Cradle. Cast Ramunap. Get back Wasteland. Probably just go after the Bayou. Pass. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too patient with this force and I should just use it, or should have used it a few turns ago. But if I'm 2-4ing myself, I really want to 2-for-2 my opponent. This looks like prime time. Maybe not. Vraska. Interesting. Vraska's gonna be okay. They're going to maybe sacrifice a thing. Probably just a basic. Sacrifice Wasteland, okay. Play a land. Yeah, Vraska's very cool. Luckily, we have a pretty good turn here, because end of turn we can cast this, hitting Dryad, pitching the Noble Hierarch. We get to untap, draw a card, play Wasteland from the bin, go after their Ancient Tomb. Now we can attack Vraska and attack them. Hey, this is just like a PrimeTime deck. Tap this for Sylvan Library and also Qasali. Pretty nice turn. Four mana. 4 green mana. Interesting. Maybe Green Suns for 3? Green Suns for 3. Okay. The new Valakut thingy, yeah. That is it. Maybe getting Ramunap just to play a land from the graveyard. Which we have as well. What are they going to find? Corsa. Okay, that's pretty cool. We can deal with it, though. With the Qasali Pridemage. So this will be interesting. Once is on top, which takes up their mana as well, so we kind of can say we have this pretty well. We still have Questing Beast in the deck as well. Put on top. We can play a land, so we have 4 or 5 mana. I think I'm happy just putting this on top. We can play a land from the grave. 4 mana, 5 mana. Green Suns. For Questing Beast. Haha. We can deal with Corsa here. We know Once Upon a Time is on top, so that takes 2 mana. Then they only have another 2 mana to play with. So here we can hit for 12, and then they probably just can't answer it the following turn anyway. So luckily, we get up, which is nice. I guess I wanted to force on their turn because I wanted to make sure that there wasn't a possibility of getting 2 hits. Is it Euro worth it, or just tagging along with Oko? It's kind of just tagging along, but it can be relevant when I need the extra turn against like a Delver or True Name where the 3 life actually really matters. But I've never really Green Sunned for it. It's really, if I draw it, then I'm kind of happy to cast it. So Uro's in an interesting position. But yeah, otherwise, looking pretty good. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a second. See you guys soon. Nice. Got a beer as well from a local brewery. It's a pale ale from Range Brewing. Very nice beer. Cheers. Oh, that is good beer. Pretty sure it's got like a some sort of sweet taste. It's really nice. It's got a nice grip as well on the actual branding. It's very cool, so you can actually hold the beer quite well. All right. Game 3. JF Rants. The prelim didn't fire, unfortunately, so we are not doing the prelim. This hand I like. We can still Green Suns for Dryad Arbor turn 1. Island. Snow covered as well. Ponder. Okay. Matched into one? Oh, interesting. That's really weird. So they put together the prelim and the leagues? And then just take the totals out of that? I do like that your username is The Jig Is Up. What do they do with the Ponder? They chose not to shuffle. Okay. I think I'm okay with going... just Savannah into Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. Try to get my colors online early. Ah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, luckily I just had the removal when I really needed it, because if I give you a turn with the Dryad or the Ramunap, it just allows you to do so much more with your mana. But the game 3 was pretty rough, how you started on so many caverns. Pyro. Okay, Pyro is a little bit of a nuisance, but luckily we can go... So I can play Swords here to play around Daze, but then I can't play Thalia to play around Daze. But if my opponent didn't Daze the Green Sun Zenith, I don't think they have the Daze for Thalia. So I definitely like trying to deal with the Young Pyromancer now. And if they force this, hopefully then the Thalia resolves, which is still nice because it holds back the Young Pyromancer for a little bit and allows me just to try to get my board going. They didn't force that. That's really interesting. The kind of awkward thing here is that I need to get another white source, and we don't play Tundra. So I do just want to go for a Savannah here, and then hopefully the Ramunap or the Knight can find our next card. Okay, wow. That's interesting. Green Sun Swords and Thalia all resolving is pretty nice for us. Especially if this Cradle gets going. True Name. That's going to be fine. Okay. So now I think I like Sylvan Library. Well, I guess we can play Ramunap, Cradle, Library. That's pretty nice. I could also play Knight, Cradle, Library. I think Knight's just a little bit better because it's also a 4/4, so it's quite hard to deal with for my opponent. So I think Knight's probably the better play than Ramunap. I could also do both, but I think Library's going to be pretty nice, even though I can't be too... This is actually pretty interesting. Do I just not go for Library here? And try to get Ramunap out as well? I kind of like Ramunap here. Why would I go for Ramunap? I would go for Ramunap because it means next turn we can get a blue source without using the Knight, which means we can use the Knight to Wasteland our opponent and try to take them off red. Why would I Sylvan Library? So next turn we're definitely taking 3, most likely, and going down to 15. We can probably take 4 off that, so we can probably draw 1 extra card off the Library. And as time goes on, then the Library, of course, also gets worse. So maybe the time is to now play Library, try to get that value out of it, and then start playing around it. I do have an Oko, which is really nice, so I can gain some life as well. I think I probably just want to make this Cradle as good as possible, get the Ramunap down, and then next turn we can hopefully play this Oko, Wasteland our opponent. We can even double Wasteland our opponent because we can find one with Knight, and then we can play that from the bin for turn with Ramunap. So that seems pretty nice. Definitely feel pretty good about this board state. Especially the Knight as a 4/4, I think that's very relevant because something like Magmatic Sinkhole hasn't seen too much play recently, so their only burn spell is most likely Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt. It's tough as well because I feel this Wasteland has to hit the Cradle, but the Ramunap's just going to replay it unless they have Bolt for Ramunap and Wasteland. Interesting. Chain Lightning this, but tap the Wasteland. Delver. Okay. They're tapped out now, so they can't force anything, which is pretty great for us. Yeah, Ramunap was really nice at the best of times, especially when you obviously wanted to Wasteland me. Green Suns. We can Green Suns for Questing Beast. 3, 4, 5, 6. Which is pretty nice. Gets that ball rolling. What else can we do? I think Green Suns for Questing Beast is just so much fun. It's pretty hard for my opponent to deal with as well, other than block with the True Name. It also means we can attack with the Thalia, so I actually really like this. QB is really cool. It means we can actually just attack with everything if we wish. And attack for 10? I guess they can double block the Knight, but I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, if the Knight's dealing with a True Name and a Delver, then I'm pretty happy. I would love to see this True Name in front of the Thalia. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Opponent. Opponent. Oh no. Questing Beast. Combat damage that would be prevented by creatures you control can't be prevented. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. I feel like my opponent is now reading the card and saying, or asking themselves, why did Thalia not die there? Why did True Name die? Unfortunately, it's because Questing Beast is a book, and you need to read it before you block. Yeah, which is fair enough. Maybe they just don't know how protection works, because this creature can't be dealt damage, but Questing Beast allows damage to be dealt. I think they're saying something. Yeah. I'm going to submit the same list. No, I don't. We want a sideboard. I do like the extra path. I do like the Carpet of Flowers a lot. Reclamation is interesting, but I'm not sure if that's where I want to be. Prelate. Prelate's an interesting card because on 1, it seems okay against Blue-Red Delver, but a lot of my removal is on 1. I still think it's okay. I think we can definitely take out Gaddock Teeg, Pridemage. Yeah, the new set looks like you can add a few more pieces to it, which is kind of cool. I can probably even drop the Sylvan Libraries on the draw, to be fair. They're not going to be that great. I don't mind just this setup. Hardcast Omniscience is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. Do I want anything else? I don't think I do. I think this is fine. I think best case is that I just use most of my swords and parts before I cast the Prelate for most likely 1. Or we have a board state where 1 just protects my board and I don't care too much about their creatures. I think this is fine. This is an interesting one. I don't really like it. It's got a lot of endgame threats. Or CMC high grader. I mean, if we go Savannah into Carpet and they daze it and then Wasteland us, we got nothing. I'd much rather have a hand with some turn 1 or 2 plays or small interaction like Swords to Plowshares. So I'm actually going to mulligan this. And this is pretty perfect. I'm going to keep this. And because I want to get Knight straight away to a 4/4, I think our best draw is probably fetch land into Knight. So I'm going to bottom the Snow-Covered Forest. Interesting. Carpet of Flowers. Carpet's kind of nice here as well because it gives us the extra mana if they play a blue source next turn. And they can't daze it here. Carpet also allows us to play around daze a little bit, so I don't mind just going for a basic here and going for Carpet over Noble. Yeah, they can't daze it, which is great. And of course, Carpet's kind of in here on the draw to play around daze a little bit. So unless they force this, which is a pretty big win, then we're going to have hopefully a little bit of fun with it. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. Classic. Wasteland. Okay, so like Young Pyromancer here would be a little bit. Yeah, Young's pretty good. Noble. This is a no. I think I'm happy just going for Thalia here. It kind of forces them to have a force of will. Or I guess a bolt. Yeah, this is weird. I do like... Okay, there we go. Nice. Kind of annoying because I probably want to Wasteland their Volk. Another Pyromancer. Interesting. Okay. So now we get to untap and draw. Wooded Foothills. Okay. We will use Cupboard's ability. We'll create green. And we'll cast a Noble Hierarch. I'll probably then play Wasteland. Take them off their Volk. They can float blue here, but they can't really do much with it. We can now change phase to play around Force of Will. Don't really want to go to combat here. I'm pretty happy keeping the Thalia back for now and just casting the second Hierarch. One card I don't want to see is Blazing Volley, which is 1 red, deal 1 damage to all your opponent's creatures, which would be pretty upsetting. But hopefully if this Thalia sticks, we can hold the fort for a little longer. One nice thing now as well is that the a knight off the top is going to be at least a 4/4. But I think next turn we'll just be cashing in this Horizon Canopy. Another young Pyromancer. Okay, this is pretty interesting. I guess I can now be attacking with a Noble Hierarch as well. Another Thalia. So let's go land. Crack this. Knight. That's pretty perfect. Because now they can't even Force of Will it or Daze it because of Thalia and because they have no lands, no forests, no islands in play. I'm still going to keep back the Thalia. I guess I don't really want my opponent to attack with the young Pyromancer. We block, and then they just bolt the knight, so I'm going to let this resolve. That's fine. I do need to start doing things. 3 young Pyromancer is quite scary, and I feel like a fetch there is pretty brutal as well. Don't be a 4th young Pyromancer. Bolt. Okay. That's going to be fine. Alright, so now I really need to find Questing Beast. That's probably my best avenue to victory, or else this deck's just going way too wide. So yeah, 3 Pyro is very scary. We'll see what they do with their Preordain. 2 cards to the bottom, okay. Misty, rough. Misty can go and get Dryad Arbor, which is nice. I think I'm happy just attacking. This is really tough. I think I just have to. No blocks? Well, we should have definitely fetched there. Even if it gives away the Dryad Arbor, it just gets 1 more point of damage in, which is nice. But yeah, Pyromancer here just going a little bit too wide for us. And maybe we should just be more aggressive in the early game. Yeah, I wonder if they're just trying to go a little bit, like, just very wide. What's this going to be? Chain Lightning. Alright. We don't have a way to clean these up either. I was thinking of playing Marrow Shards in the sideboard, which is it's either a Phyrexian Life, 2 mana, or 1 mana, And it's an instant deal one damage to all attacking creatures. Alright, so here we can at least... Oh, they have the Wasteland as well. Ah, rough. I'm not even going to show them Dryad Arbor. Rough. Definitely just durdled a little bit too long. Maybe on the play I don't mind Gideon. And just take out a Thalia. See how this goes. As good as Thalia is, I really want to try to get at least a board that can just go a little bit wider. And Gideon definitely allows that. Actually, maybe Tracker's worse than the Thalia. Just especially on the play, I think like getting my chances of a turn 2 Thalia as high as possible is definitely where I want to be. And I think the Tracker is just a little bit too slow for this matchup. I mean, if I have the time to play Tracker, play lands, draw cards off the clues, then I'm definitely winning that game. Alright, we'll definitely play first. And unfortunately, we'll have to mulligan this. But we'll keep this. And I think we just bottom the Trop and then keep the 3 fetches. I'm going to play the Windswept Heath because it can get a basic... plains. The Wooded Foothills cannot. Delver's okay. I think I'm happy to play around Days. I guess if we draw a 2 mana spell, I just want to cast it. The issue is that we only have so many ways to deal with Delver that I think I'm happy playing around Days, even if we draw into a 2 mana card here. Canopy, okay, that works out pretty well. The one thing that does do is just leave the Days for the night, so it kind of puts us back a little bit as well. Night. So I could slam a Knight because we have a backup one as well. It does put them behind a bit. Or I could take the time to the next turn play Knight. I think because I have a second, I'm happy just to slam one. Yeah, I'd rather make them have it than play scared around a card that they might not even have in the deck still. Okay. Volk, interesting. Fetching now to do something. Okay. Arcanist is pretty good. Maybe, hopefully they did this just to keep their red source from being wastelanded and not have a second Daze. Okay, nice. I guess they can still have Bolt and then Dreadboard the Bolt, or even Chain Lightning. Hey, Jesus, welcome. Rough. So the knight is down. Beast. Okay. Let's go then. Alright. Get in for 4. Definitely Wasteland our opponent as well. Dreadboard very scary though. Just so much value for one creature. They do have a Ponder in the bin. If they have another Bolt or Bolt-like card, they can deal with the Questing Beast as well. No attacks. Okay, that's pretty great for us. Let's draw a card here. Oh, Green Suns. Interesting. Probably just going to keep this for night. I could try to go for Scavenging Ooze here. Scavenging Ooze isn't the worst because it can eat 2 knights. They obviously don't have a Bolt or else they would have attacked through the Questing Beast. It doesn't play around Spell Pierce, but neither does the other one. I think I'm okay just tapping out here for Scooze because then it kind of doesn't waste the turn then. I'm actually doing something. Especially if we draw into a card next turn that's going to you know, that we can cast as well. So getting Scooze here seems pretty fantastic. Haha, hey Daniel, sorry I just saw that. What time is it where you are right now? Brainstorm, interesting. Pretty big brainstorm. Hey Vince, a huge thank you. I hope you're well. Unfortunately, the Legacy Preliminary didn't fire, but we jammed into a Legacy League, and it looks like Questing Beast is just a little bit too good here. So, luckily we get up in that one, taking our record to 2 wins and a loss. Going down to Maverick in the first match, just a green-white variant. I don't believe they were on black. Which was cool to see. Yeah, Questing Beast is pretty cool. Chat was talking about as well how with some of these new spoilers, Questing Beast can definitely get to a stage where it has a lot more text on it, which is pretty funny. Pretty interesting interactions with, is it mutation is the new keyword? That's pretty cool. Hey, Life of Ursa. Thanks for coming in. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? People need to get more big brain. Yeah. Yeah, Beast was sweet. We actually green sunned for Beast. My opponent had a True Name and a Delver. We green sun for Beast and attack with Beast, a 4/4 Knight, and a 2/1 Thalia. And they blocked True Name. They blocked Thalia with True Name, which of course damage can't be prevented. So first strike kills the True Name. And then we went on to match 2. So that was pretty cool. Can't wait to get... So Matt Sol has been playing Ajani Caller of Pride in Green White Maverick, which can give double strike and flying to a creature. So I feel like that's definitely kind of like magic bingo if we do get to it. Then giving Questing Beast would be really cool. Giving Questing Beast flying, that is. This is sadly not a keep. I could keep it to try to get that that second land, but I'm pretty happy just to mulligan this. I want to be able to cast my my actual spells, and this is okay. It's very fair, but we do get to Green Sun's turn 1 for Dryad Arbor, and then cast this Knight. So I'm going to keep this and drop a Savannah, because if we're up against a Bolt deck, I want to get these Knights to a 4/4 ASAP. Someone needs to yeah, create that 100%. How do you feel about the line of turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Soulmarity, turn 3 Mother, turn 4 Uriel deck? Interesting. Soulmarity is a very cool card, but I don't think it's found that much of a home. I believe it's the one where permanents and you can't get counters. What do they do with the Pondle? Ponder chose not to shuffle. Okay. Interesting. If this is something like Omnitel, maybe I want to keep the Green Suns for some sort of interaction like Gaddock Teeg. So I kind of want to draw Noble Hierarch here. Or Birds. Karakas. Okay. I guess Knight's just our best line here, so... Hey, Ari, welcome. Gonna go for... Do I need the Trop? I don't need the Trop. Let's go for Savannah. Yeah. Savannah for Dryad Arbor. It just turns on so many plays as well, which is nice. I'm from Sweden. Been on the Discord a lot lately. I'm a true Legacy fan. Started out a D&T player a long time ago, but I've tried most decks. I'm a fan of mid-range decks. In paper, I own several versions of Reanimator, D&T, Green, White, and Punishing Maverick, as well as bug mid-range shells, but very, very rarely play them. Very cool. What's the Legacy scene like in Sweden, or at least the city from you're from? Ooh, Simian Spirit Guide. Is this show and tell? All right, I guess we're just putting in Karakas. Hey, haha. Well, that kind of works. I guess I want to not do it. Is there a reason to not Karakas here? Because I could draw 7 and then just show and tell it back in during their turn. I think I just want to wait until the end step. I could have put in the Knight, but then I guess if they put in like Sneak Attack and have a creature, but otherwise I guess Knight is just better. Ah, wait, I gotta use this. I can untap and play the Karakas, that's very true. Yeah, because to be fair, if they put in the Grizzlebrand or Emrakul, they don't have the turn to actually attack with it, so putting a Knight there is just technically correct. Untap, play Karakas. Mum. Force, okay. I might just play the Mum here as well. I'm not too scared of not having the Karakas up. Unless they have like Soul Land and then a mix of Simian Spirit Guides and also Lotus Petals for Sneak Attack. But if they Brainstorm here, then I'm not too unhappy as well. But yeah, putting the knight there would be nice as well, because then it's actually a clock as well. Interesting that they're fetching up this and then passing turn, because if we draw a Wasteland, then we actually have a great target. Oko. Interesting. Don't have the mana for it. I'm going to play the knight and then swing with both of these. Puts them down to 8. Surely off the 7 they found a line to win. Even just Omniscience into Cunning Wish or some sort of draw spell. Show and Tell will resolve. We have Jitte. Not the greatest. Grizzle's pretty good here. Maybe I should have kept up the Karakas. Oh, if they just have it, but... I feel better if they just have the Emrakul as well, but it looks like they don't. Alright. I guess we can take them off the Volk. And then if they have Lotus Petal as their only red source, they can't play around Karakas. So what if we go... Equip to Mum. Play Noble. If we attack for 2, we then can go up to 16, and we don't die to Emrakul. If they have another Grizzlebrand, they have another Grizzlebrand. We can't play around that. But we can play to win, which is to put them to 6, and then live through an Emrakul swing and swing back with a big knight because we can sack our lands. So now we can Wasteland the Volk, and if they don't have another red source, then we do get it in. Get the counters. Sack this. Wasteland. Wow, they didn't have it. Nuts. That is astonishing. Very nice to get the game won. So here, I definitely like Banishing Light. I definitely like Prelate. Force of Vigor is pretty nice. Deafening Silence is interesting. It does stop the Omniscience plan, and I don't mind Carpet of Flowers. I kind of like Carpets over some of my creatures. So I might bring in 2 Carpets for 2 Nobles. I think we can definitely take out Uro. Tireless Tracker. Ramunap's okay. Skoos can come out. Mum can probably be trimmed. Swords can most likely be trimmed. That's 60. It just gives us an out, and I think I just want to play the full 3 because I'm not a blue deck. I can't ponder for them. I can't brainstorm for them. I have to just try to make sure I hit them. And if I only play 2, then I'm obviously dropping my chances of seeing it a lot more. But this is luckily pretty good. The Jitte is interesting as well. I wonder if just Path is better than Swords. Maybe not. Maybe. Collector Oof is interesting as well because it does turn off Lotus Petals. I think that's okay. I think we might even just go down one Jitte and bring in Collector Oof. Because at least it does something. It can disrupt their mana. So this seems okay. It's also another green card for Force of Vigor, which is nice. Oof does make our Wasteland plan a lot better. And it does turn off a lot of their lines for multiple ways to deal with sneak attack. Get multiple red sources. Gonna mulligan this. This is pretty good. We'll keep this and we'll get a Savannah with this. So I think I'm going to drop the Cradle. They could also go for just basics early on, so maybe the Wastelands aren't the greatest, but I think I like dropping Cradle. There's nothing too great about this hand that Cradle can actually do. It's also not a forest, so it doesn't really do anything with Scryb Ranger. Keep and bottom the Cradle. Preordain put 2 cards to the bottom, so I am definitely wastelanding here. There is no doubt about it. Woof. All right. That's a pretty good target as well, because it means that we can turn off Show and Tell next turn if they draw into a green source, so I don't mind just Wasteland again here. City, okay. City a little bit worse for my opponent, which is nice. Force of Vigor is really nice. So let's go Savannah into Deafening Silence. The only issue here is that if they go Omniscience, we can't force it with Thalia out. Nothing? Wow, okay. Well, that's pretty nice for us. Classic hand. Classic hand kept from them. Trop here seems fine. Yeah, Thalia here seems pretty great. It seems like something they have to force, but it looks like it's just coming down, which is really nice for us. Just gonna 6 here again. Ugh. Haha. Unfortunate. Banishing Light. Interesting. Banishing Light's really nice for Show and Tell. It looks like my opponent might just be conceding. Surely not. There's game here. We have a slow clock. Let's go for land. Maybe Where to Star. Lagging a little bit? Is that us lagging? Keep up Scryb and Force? Yeah, I like that. We can check what our internet's like. Internet looks fine. White Oof not a main board? I think just for this build, because we're running the 2 main deck Jittes. But otherwise, I definitely like the Oof main board. If I play the Oof main board, I'm probably playing the Gaddock Teeg in the side and switching those two. But I think that main board Oof right now is very good. There's no doubt about that. I think I like just speeding up my clock here. I'm just trying to pounce on their slow ability to actually get anything going. I guess because we have Banishing Light, I'm not too scared of not holding up these. So I can go 1, 2, 3. Untap this, return this. Play Savannah. Play Oko. Tick it up for a food. Attack for 4. Because I definitely want to close out this game before my opponent kind of sculpts the perfect hand. But it would be pretty tough. I think like Pyroclasm or... I guess Pyroclasm right now is the only card they can have because the extra mana from Qasali can't be cast. I could cast Mum as well, but I wanted the extra attack of Dryad Arbor. But maybe it doesn't matter. What's this going to be? Ponder. This is fine. So next turn we attack for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's a 2-turn clock, which is nice. My opponent obviously having a very good hand that just needed the mana to cast everything, and just didn't get there. Snow covered. Attack with everything. I guess I don't worry about playing the Mum because if they do have something like Pyroclasm, then I don't want to play the extra Mum. Luckily, if they get Grizzlebrain into play, we can most likely Banishing Light it. Or Elk it, if it's our turn. Which is quite nice. And this can concede, okay. Rough. Ah! That's rough. Yeah, so I assume they had Show and Tell on like turn 2 and they just didn't have the land for it. But that puts us at a 3-1, which is nice. We can play for the 4-0, or we can go down and live the 3-2 dream. So, pretty nice. It's always nice to be at least have the 3 wins because you're going to get back your entry, half your entry, a little bit of your entry. BANT playing pretty reasonably. We do, of course, have an issue against go-wide strategies like Young Pyromancer, but otherwise, looking pretty good. Would have been cool to play the prelim. There's a few loam decks going around as well that look really cool. Pretty unfortunate to Unarug going down in the finals today of the PT. Up against Doom. This hand is fine. Turn 1 Noble's nice because then if it is an unfair deck, we can at least go for Gaddock Teeg with the Green Sun. So I'm gonna keep this. Yeah, League's gone pretty fast. What's the time? 6:45. Yeah, we could nearly do it in 2 hours, which is pretty nice. Especially for a pretty grindy deck. Scalding Tarn. Ugh. Preordain. Okay. Hey, Ming the Weeb. Thanks for following. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Preordain. Put 2 cards to the bottom. Interesting. Savannah. Swords. Okay. I think here I don't mind just going basic forest into Noble Hierarch. Could also keep this in case we draw into Oko. I'm okay with basic. I don't want to get dazed and wastelanded, but I'm not too sure what my opponent is on, so... Forest Noble it is. I'm guessing Doomsday. I actually thought that as well, seeing the name, but hopefully not. I guess we'll see here what happens. Knight can grab a blue source. Life, that's very true, which is really nice. Ponder. It's interesting that my opponent went Preordain, put 2 to the bottom, because they didn't know what we were on. So that probably means either they want more lands, they don't want any more lands, or they want to try to just get their combo together. So no, I'm going to assume this is some sort of combo deck and not just like a Delver variant. They chose not to shuffle. I think just because we do die straight away... I mean, we have a great hand against a fair deck. We don't against a combo deck. So I think my reasoning here is just go for Gaddock Teeg so we have something to maybe stop this deck from going off. They're going to force it. Hopefully the card they pitch... Omniscience! Okay. So this is going to be show and tell. Yeah. Which I don't think can beat Gaddock Teeg if they play shared summons over... over El Dummery's Call. Ugh. This looks like... Oh, maybe just a sneak attack. Yeah, that's pretty good. Wasteland does hit Volk, which is nice. And I think here we just want to play Knight. It does tap us off Swords. They do also have the option with that island to maybe Preordain or Ponder or Brainstorm into a red source. We can play Noble and hold up double sword. I guess, okay. Worst case, I guess best case is they have nothing and we get to untap with Knight, which gives us Karakas. Worst case is they have Emrakul, which wipes our board. We have no lands. We go to 4. If they have Grizzlebrand, which we can interact with, we can Swords it, but they can definitely draw cards anyway. I think if they have Grizzlebrand, they just win anyway because they already have the sneak in. So I think our best case is to just play Knight here. I think it's just Knight, because if they have Grizzlebrand and we try to Swords it, they're just going to draw cards in response anyway. So I'd much rather get the Knight down and then just hopefully fade 1 turn from our opponent. Oh, what's this? Show and tell? Impulse. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. Ugh. Alright. Go down to 6. Drawing the extra land there would have been great, because then we could hold up Swords. But now they probably can just go off with both. If they play the pedal there, I assume they're going to put in an Emrakul as well. Brainstorm, okay. Maybe they don't have Emrakul yet. Riches for days. Ponder. Haha. Chose to shuffle with Ponder. Okay. Yeah, maybe we do get a turn. And if they try to draw here, they go back down to 6, and then we have lethal with the Noble Hierarch. And even if they try to force the Noble Hierarch, that's still lethal. So they can't draw off this Grizzlebrand. Unless they draw into another Grizzlebrand and sneak attack. Alright. Wasteland. Wasteland's interesting. Wasteland on Volk is really nice because it turns off one of their red sources. I don't think we can attack it with anything though, because if they put in a creature and block, it's pretty bad, especially if it's Grizzlebrand. We definitely keep up a Karakas, but I'm trying to think if it's correct to attack with the Noble, and I think it's better just to hold up 2 swords. Sorry. Hold up 2 swords. I guess if I attack with Noble, I'll put him to... Okay, so here's my thinking. We put them to 11 with Noble Hierarch. They then go to 9 with Ancient Tomb. Don't do anything. We untap. Which means we can actually go for Knight and just build the Knight up to hopefully just attack in for 9 the following turn. Swordsing the Noble's pretty funny as well. No blocks. Okay. Yeah, unless they have land, they're going to brainstorm first. Delta. Ugh. It was good while it lasted. Ponder. Oh, that's a massive win. What do they do with the Ponder? So if we go and get Wasteland in our end step, we can Wasteland their Volk, untap, the Knight would be a 6/6, 8/8 with Noble Hierarch, which turns off the Ancient Tomb. They chose not to shuffle though. Interesting. Okay, so here's another play. If they don't have a creature, we can Wasteland ourselves here, putting the Knight up to an 8/8, and then we can attack for 10 next turn. I think here we just have to go for Wasteland and Wasteland their Volk. But it's nice to know that we're so close to that as an out. Alright, what do we draw? Oko. Interesting. Oko can go after the Lotus. I think that's worth it. They kind of have to force this, which puts them to 9, and then we also have lethal, but Attacking into the Lotus is kind of scary. They're going to force pitching Spell Pierce. Yeah, do we attack? So if they have a Grizzlebrand, they gain. So they have 3 Volks in the bin. This is a really interesting one. They don't play full Volks. I guess it does force the Lotus. You know what? if the win is here, I'm gonna try to take it. All right. The block is fine. They draw. Interesting. Before damage. They've already used 3 Lotus as well. Rough. Rough. Show and tell. Interesting. Yeah, hitting all the petals was really rough. Interesting. They're kind of... I think they're trying to dig for a win con. Or else otherwise they just lose to the knight. Yeah, sadly. I guess attacking at least gives us the chance to just steal the game? Surely they have this. They have 6 cards in hand. Okay, they have Cunning Wish. I know what I should have done. So the turn where we tap Knight to Wasteland them off the tapped Volcanic Island, we should have got Karakas, untapped, attack them for lethal, and held up Karakas to block anything that comes off Sneak Attack. That's the win. Rough. Knight was lethal because of Force and Oko. Ah, of course, yeah. There we go. Yep. Want cheering up? I would love cheering up. That's rough. But no, I think we played okay. I think there could have been tighter lines, but this is going to be fine. Very cool. That is very funny. Okay. This is going to be an interesting boarding process. So it is Sneak. Definitely like Prelate for 3. Definitely like Banishing Light. Great card to put off. I like the Carpet. I like the Collector Oof. I like the Silencers. And I like the Force of Vigors. I don't like the Swords. We can take out 3. I like trimming down on my creatures and bringing in the Carpets instead. Uro can come out. Probably the Jittes as well. Path or Sword is interesting. Path, I don't really want to give them the mana if I'm trying to keep them off things like jewels, of course, and then also collect oof hitting their lotus petals. I think giving them the life is a little bit better. So if we're taking out this, probably taking out Tireless Tracker, a little bit too slow. Scavenging Ooze can actually come out. We'll keep in Tireless Tracker because it can be pretty good if the deck goes out to grind. I don't mind this. I could see myself going down on a land just to play one more mana creature, but I think this is fine. Just got to try to keep a hand with something that's good to put in to Omniscient, to Show and Tell. And this hand is pretty good. We can play the Noble Hierarch and then play Deafening Silence. We could also play turn 2 Tireless Tracker. A little bit fair, but the Deafening Silence is nice. So I'm going to keep this. I'm just going to go Savannah into Noble Hierarch. Keep the fetch land for blue, or for a basic if we need it. It's also really good with Tireless Tracker, so that could be nice. They mull to 6. Hey, Requiem, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? I guess when I'm not playing around is Lotus Petal, Soul Land, Show and Tell, Omniscience, but that's okay. Interesting. So they're playing out Lotus Petal here to play around Thalia, and I guess to some also Deafening Silence. So I'm going to go for... I think Library here is actually really nice because we can be pretty aggressive with it. So I don't mind going... fetch. Trop. Yeah, Library into Silence seems really nice. And now we can really just 6 to save some time. Interesting, just a pass. Knight. Karakas, Zenith. Okay, so I kind of like all of these. I think I'm just going to pay 8. Play the Karakas and then Green Sun's for Teeg. I could also go for Oof, but I think Teeg here is nice because it stops Hardcast Show and Tell. It stops the Omniscience plan. We also have Karakas, which is nice. Also stops Force of Will if that's an issue. Hey, Night in the North, welcome. Good morning, hope you're well. We're currently playing for the 4-1 against Sneak and Show. Down a game. So hopefully bouncing back in this game and then playing for the 4-1 in the 3rd. But have to get through this game first. We definitely have a pretty good board presence. But outside of that, a little bit weak. Also have a nice beer, so that's really nice. Oof is interesting because it does turn off the pedal. I guess it turns off both pedals here. But that's it. They can definitely still win through not having access to pedal. But otherwise, it's pretty hard for them. Probably just top, play Knight, and then try to shuffle in our upkeep. It does stop the Omniscience plan, which is nice. If they're going for shared summons, but they did go for Intuition last turn, so at least Gaddock Teeg does something. And now I'm pretty happy just to go for Knight into Mum and then get a free look. Yeah, it shuts down Omniscience if they're on the Return to Ravnica card that gets the 3 converted mana cost cards. And it also shuts down shared summons if they're on that. Yeah, that's good. It doesn't stop Omni Emrakul. Nothing really does, but at least we can try to shut down like a hard cast sneak attack like they did last turn. Firemind's Foresight, that's the card. It's a lot of fetching. I feel like this is like an intuition. Cunning Wish, okay. Maybe like Pyroclasm? Kozilek's, okay. That's gonna be fine. It kills the Mum and the Noble, but we get to return the Teeg, which is nice. So here, I probably just want to... I definitely want to... what do we have on top? We have Forest that we know about, and something else that I don't really want. Just gonna get a Wasteland. Carpet's interesting. Mum and that. I think I'll just like the fetch land here. I guess Carpet we can use in their second main, which is kind of nice. But here I don't mind going Teeg again. If they want to force that, that's more than fine, because now they're down to 2 cards. They're just going to concede. Interesting. I don't think we had that great of a setup. I think they definitely had time. I mean, Knight is only a 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6. So it's a 2-turn clock with a canopy. Maybe they just didn't think they were getting out of it. We're just going to run this back. There's nothing that I really want to bring in. Gideon's interesting, but I don't think it's where we want to be. I think I'm happy just running this back. It's interesting to see that Kozilek's Return is the card that I have to be worried about, because Mum, of course, does nothing against Kozilek's Return. It is a colorless source, so I can't give protection. But Sneak can be a pretty tough matchup. So it's nice to go to 3. Yeah, Oko is just really interesting in this game. Oh, in this deck, sorry. I do like green-white right now because it's doing really well and it's really consistent. You don't have to worry about a third color. You can just, you know, do Maverick at its best. Black's really nice as well because you get Abrupt Decay and Plague Engineer, which are really nice. You do get access to Thoughtseize, but I think there's better cards like Deafening Silence against combo, especially with Veil of Summer running around. The Uro in here is really... I'm not too sure what its purpose is, and that's why I don't like it. It does give you some extra game against decks like Delver, where you might need the extra 3 life. But I've played a few amount of leagues with it, and I've never green sunned for it. It's been a case of drawing it and being like, okay, this is pretty cool. It does allow you to use the graveyard as a resource as well, which is nice. So outside of Ramunap and maybe like Savine's Reclamation, you don't get that too much. Yeah, Delver can be a good matchup. It's tough because Delver can just delve you. especially with some of the new printings in like Brazen Burrower is really good. The Grixis ones playing Engineer are really good. Young Pyromancer can just go really wide, which is tough as well. And a deck like BANT or Green-White don't really have answers for it unless they can just straight up deal with the Young Pyromancer before it makes any tokens. Yeah, the new Snowco decks are really interesting. Prelate's really nice. We're just going to get a basic here and cast the birds. Prelate for 3 is probably what I'm looking for because it also turns off Kozilek's Return. So we're just going to get... I guess we can just get a Trop here. I don't mind Trop. Yeah, Stoneforge is a little bit weak. I do like the decks that just run the two... the decks that run the 2 Jittes in the main deck, and then run something like Sylvan Library to find them. Playing out Petal, okay. Huh. Well, now I have to kind of play around. Do they have Soul Land, Sneak Attack, and then a red mana for Sneak Attack? Or are they going for a Show and Tell play? Because if they're going for Show and Tell, I probably want to hit the Lotus. I guess we also have the option here of just green sunning for Collector Oof, which turns off the Petal. I don't mind going for Collector Oof. Hey, Vince, a huge thank you for the sub. That is very cool to see, and a very nice thing to see on a Friday afternoon. A huge thank you. Of course, if anyone doesn't know who Pleasant Kenobi is, definitely check him out on YouTube, and also on Twitter as Pleasant Kenobi. We did some content last night around Australian 7-point Highlander that is going to be very cool to see, so that should be pretty good. Yeah, they could have also already card Show and Tell if they have it. That's pretty true. This is going to be another snip. What's the play? 6. What's the play? Because we have a few options. I don't mind turning off their Petal. They're going to force it. Are they? It looks like it. Okay. At least they're down to 2 cards now, so they probably can't have Soul Land Sneak Creature, which is nice. What did they pitch? Omniscience. Okay. They do play Soul Lands, so the 3 that wins it here is Soul Land, Sneak, and Creature. They have the Soul Land, but it looks like they don't have the Creature. So now I'm happy to go Karakas into Prelate for 3. Because then that kind of just shores us up against both. They're going to fetch. Maybe they have Hardcast Force of Will here. Interesting. This is fine. Yeah. Show and Tell. And they have 1 card left? I guess it's got to be Grizzlebrand, right? So I think we're putting in the Knight for sure. Knight's probably best because then we can Wasteland our opponent next turn. The Tireless Tracker draws us cards, but I think we're pretty good. They have 1 card left. It's got to be Grizzle. This is fine. I think just because Sanctum's that good. I play Sanctum as Thalia number 4 and Mum number 4 because it does cross over a little bit. Sanctum can be really good at locking your opponent out of spells that both win in the game and remove our creatures. So I do like playing Prelate somewhere in the 75. It's just really nice. I mean, especially on 3 against Show and Tell, it turns off Intuition, Show and Tell, Cunning Wish, Kozilek's Return, Pyroclasm. Interesting. That's going to be fine. Definitely returning this to the hand. I can Green Suns for Qasali Pridemage. I guess we can attack. We can also hold up. We can also get rid of the Volk. The bird would have been sweet because then we can Green Suns for Questing Beast, but we can't. Teeg and Wasteland's also interesting because that turns off a hard cast. Turns off hardcast sneak attack. Yeah, Knight is only a 3/3 right now. I don't mind Teeg. I could also see something like Green Suns for Collector Oof, Wasteland their Volk. Because that also sort of turns off... Oof is interesting because it also turns off their red sources as Lotus Petals. Teeg is great because it turns off hardcast sneak. It doesn't turn off what I expect to see is it doesn't turn off Show and Tell into Omniscience, into Cunning Wish, into Intuition for Emeralds. But at least Qasali Pridemage interacts with Omniscience because you can I think it's Pridemage. We have 9 minutes, so we can discuss this. Pridemage is nice because if they Show and Tell in Omniscience, which we can't deal with Karakas, we can then respond to the first thing they cast with Qasali Pridemage on Omniscience. And even if they go Omniscience into Emrakul, we can destroy the Omniscience and then just Karakas the Emrakul on their extra turn. They can win at instant speed, but they probably have to cast something and then cast their winning spell after in response to Qasali Pridemage. I think it's Pridemage. And I think we want to keep up Karakas and mana, so I don't think attacking this turn is fine, because we can attack next turn for lethal anyway. But I did want to Wasteland my opponent. This is fine. This is fine. This works out. If you attack now, you should have gone for Qasali. I like keeping up the mana for Qasali and also Karakas. I don't want to lose to Omniscience into Emrakul by not having up both. And I guess we kind of just want to, if they do nothing, we can end step Wasteland and then Wasteland ourselves to make Knight a 5/5 and then attack for 5 and 2 is 7 next turn. Unless they use the Ancient Tomb this turn, then we don't have to do this. So even if they show and tell in sneak attack, we can deal with the sneak attack before we return anything to their hand, so they can't actually put it back into play. Yeah, that's fair. If we got the Qasali and didn't actually keep up the mana for it, then that is pretty bad. Sneak. Okay. This is going to be fine. Now nothing? That's interesting. So what if we go to end step and we just deal with the sneak attack here? Oh, they went to 5? Okay, well then that's just lethal because we can tap this to, so we can hit sneak attack here. And then we can tap this to Wasteland ourselves to make the knight a 5/5 and then just swing for lethal. Nice. Interesting. Very nice. They are at 4, which is really nice for us. Interesting plays. So they didn't have the show and tell. They sent me a message, but I couldn't see it. Or maybe I can. Your top deck. Classic. 4/1 is nice. Oh. Fetch it to mainstream. This deck was pretty fun. I did kind of miss having just the consistency of... I like Julian's list because I based this off Julian's list. So he actually played the full 4 Deafening Silence. I wanted to play Prelate as just another way to interact with combo. He also played 2 Banishing Light and 2 Path to Exile instead of Savines and Gideon. I thought I'd play against a bit more grindy deck, so I wanted these 2 in the deck and just went down to 1 and 1. Yeah, I was thinking of like Inferno Titan there, deal 3 to Knight, but then we can build a Knight anyway. I didn't know what was happening, but I think the deck was fine. The Jittes I didn't really need. I think that BANT has a pretty good matchup against the fair deck, so I don't think Jitte is needed. And Uro is also a flex slot, so I can definitely see some potential to play around with the cards in this deck, which, you know, is always cool. With Maverick, you can really play what you want, which is nice. They play Blood Moons? Yeah, they play Blood Moons. I've seen them play Magus as well. I haven't seen Arcane Artisan for a long time, so I'm not sure if they're still playing that, but that's pretty cool as well. Texas style decks are simply bad. The main deck is pretty tight in Sneak and Show. For the matchup, I find the matchup pretty tough, especially for this deck. It's nice to be on like Death and Taxes where you have like Flicker Wisp or Revoker, a few more outs to some of their cards. I could play something like Containment Priest as well, which would be pretty cool. But I haven't played Containment Priest in Maverick in a long time, especially since Elves isn't really a deck anymore. And we usually do pretty well anyway against the fair decks. Mo Panda. What is Mo Panda on? Legacy. Eldrazi Stompy. Okay, nice. I'm going to send you guys over to Mo Panda, who is playing Legacy, which is very cool. A huge thank you to Vince for subbing. A huge thank you to everyone who came in and followed and who watched. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a legacy prelim going, but hopefully this was okay. I think Carpet of Flowers is a great way to get above and beyond Snowco. I think it's a lot better than Choke, especially in this deck where we are running our own Trops. But Carpet seems really nice, especially as it's something they can't actually elk. Sometimes you can get the aggressive starts with Nobles and Birds, but they might just elk them and deal with them. Reality Ripple. Target artifact, creature, or land phases out. Interesting. I've never seen that card. That's pretty cool. Let's open a box. Let's open a box. Cream of the Crop. Interesting. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's power. If you do, put one of those cards on top and the rest on the bottom. Interesting. Nice. Okay, one more. One more. Let's just... 30 play points? Okay. We'll go to 15. We'll go down to 15. 5 play points. Gravecrawler is nice. Gravecrawler is actually legacy playable in Hogak, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to stop here. Patron of the Orchid. Snake Offering? Snake Offering? Haha. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Untap all forest and all green creatures. Okay. Okay, let's send you over to these guys. Oh, we did.